Good afternoon. Welcome to the first edition of this year's ELL Plus with me, Melina Havoutis.
And me, Anna-Maria Tesfaye. The headlines in this program are:
Back to university for thousands of students. Lecturers return to work after a strike over pay and pensions.
What's in a name? TfL wants ideas on what to call the new Bakerloo line extension stations.
The historic Whitechapel Bell Foundry gets a stay of execution as ministers decide on its future.
Today is the first day back for thousands of students at universities across the country after an 8-day strike by lecturers and staff.
Goldsmiths College is one of the 60 universities affected by the dispute over pay and pensions. Ibrahim Banat has more.
This has been the scene for the last 8 days at Goldsmiths University of London. There were similar scenes across the country, as the classes were cancelled and many buildings were closed down. The university and college union says staff has reached a breaking point over a number of issues, including the gender pay gap and changes to pensions, which will result in members paying in more and receiving less in retirement.
We believe that our employers didn't act in good faith in realising their promises, and so we've been forced to come back again a year and a half later. But this time, it's not just over our pensions, it is also over these other issues of pay and equalities and workloads and casualisation.
The UCU has said the strike was a last resort. The union said its members wanted to be at work, but the future of higher education was under threat. Some students joined their teachers to show solidarity with their demands.
Like, for me, it's not the end of the world. I think what's more important is that it's given us this space to do things with, and it's given us space to have a dialogue and support and be politically active. So although it's annoying to be missing university time, I don't blame the lecturers. It's not their fault, and I think this is the best way to kind of go about the situation.
We sent an email to senior management at Goldsmiths requesting an interview. They declined, saying they were not giving any interviews, as they focus on mitigating the impact of the strike on the students and the staff. However, they gave us a written statement. We care deeply about the impact of this action on our students and the staff, and we are doing everything we can to support our community during industrial action. On the second day of the strike, Vicky Foxcroft, the Labour parliamentary candidate for Lewisham-Deptford, went to the picket line to support the strike. Although some students supported their lecturers, others felt the timing was bad.
I'm not the problem. And I'm a student. I am also an international student, so the amount of money that I pay to be here makes it very stressful for me.
Talks between UCU and universities' managements are stalled for the time being. And as a spokesperson from Goldsmiths University of London stated, we believe we pay our staff fairly. This statement could lead into another waves of a strike if the negotiations won't take place in the upcoming few weeks. Students here believe that these issues should be solved as soon to avoid impacting their studies. Ibrahim Banat, East London Lines, Goldsmiths University of London.
There's just 1 week to go until the general election. All the party leaders have been out and about in London trying to persuade voters to support them. Mental health provision, the NHS, crime and policing have all been hot topics on the campaign trail, but pundits say Brexit is still a key issue. More housing and better transport links could be on the cards for New Cross Gate. Sainsbury is proposing to build affordable housing on their New Cross Gate store car park.
The Bakerloo line extension will run beneath this project, extending from Elephant and Castle to Lewisham. TfL is asking for suggestions for the new station name. Mary Litchfield reports.
Transport for London is planning to extend the Bakerloo line from Elephant and Castle to Lewisham via New Cross Gate. According to TfL, the plans will create 5,000 new jobs and help meet the needs of the capital's growing population. TfL is asking Londoners for their preference on the names of the 2 proposed new Bakerloo line stations along the Old Kent Road. The favourites so far are Burgess Park, Asylum and Old Kent Road. The Bakerloo line extension involves building 2 tunnels underneath South London. People are being given the chance to give their views on the route. Jasmine Whitbread, Chief Executive of London First, said this consultation is a welcome step towards making the Bakerloo line extension a reality. The Bakerloo line consultation is open until Sunday, the 22nd of December.
There have been many debates over the last couple of years about whether London's tube network should be extended to South London, and New Cross Gate may finally have their day as they are extending the Bakerloo line into New Cross Gate. There's a 10-week consultation happening here at Old Kent Road. They are open to suggestions from the public about what to name the new station, and we've taken to the streets to see what people think.
I would call it Old Lewisham Town.
The Dickens line.
A new X, like an X.
If the plans go ahead, building won't start until 2023, with an estimated opening time set as the mid-2030s. It seems South East London could be waiting a long time for their promised tube service. Mary Litchfield, East London Lines, New Cross Gate.
You're watching ELL Plus with me, Melina Havoutis, and Ana Maria Tesfaye. We're going to take a short break, but stay with us.
We'll be going live to Whitechapel, where the famous Bell Foundry has had a temporary reprieve, and we'll be hearing about the success of HIV Testing Week in Croydon. See you in a few minutes. Controversial plans to turn the historic Whitechapel Bell Foundry into a boutique hotel have been halted by the government while ministers consider whether to order a planning inquiry.
Our reporter, Mocorrea, joins us now live from Whitechapel, where there's been a foundry on that site for almost 500 years. Delphi, can you give us the latest update?
Well, there's no doubt this is an important day for campaigners. The planning application to transform the former foundry into a hotel was approved last month by Tower Hamlets Council, and local protesters have been fighting to get the decision overturned. According to a local writer, the gentle author, the owners of the property would have transformed this historic site into a quirky bell-themed hotel to attract tourists. The site was bought by an American company in 2017 after the foundry closed. They intended to repurpose this site to include a hotel, a cafe, artists, studios, workshops, and a small bell studio. The foundry dates back centuries, and it was Britain's longest continuous running business. Some of history's greatest bells, like the Big Ben, the Liberty Bell, and the Bowel bells, were all made here. After a petition by campaigners to Robert Jenrick, the Secretary of State of Housing, the plans to turn the Whitechapel Bell Foundry into a hotel have been halted. After the Housing Secretary issued an Article 31 holding directions, no actions can be taken until a decision is made. So for now, the foundry has been saved. But that could only be temporary. That's it from Whitechapel. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Delphi. A host of community venues have been set up to carry out rapid HIV tests in Croydon during the National HIV Testing Week campaign. Trained volunteers will be out the streets, encouraging people to have a quick finger prick HIV test.
The campaign aims to get more people to take a test and reduce the number of people who are diagnosed late. Ilaria Cafaro reports.
1 in 14 people who are HIV positive in the UK do not know that they have the virus. Croydon Council supported this year's HIV Testing Week with more than 100 trained volunteers on the street encouraging people to get tested.
If you know your status, then actually you can get the support, advice and counselling that will allow you to live the life you want safely. And you can become a parent, and you can have a happy sex life, and you can live long and happy. But the thing is to know your HIV status sooner.
Volunteers included Croydon College students, NGO Qua Africa, and Croydon Council staff. The finger prick test takes just a few minutes from start to finish, giving the results immediately. While new HIV diagnoses are going down in Croydon, HIV prevalence is increasing.
I think it's something that everyone have to know their status so that will be easy for us to prevent spreading the diseases to other people.
Patients are expected to live longer with the virus. More than a third of people receiving treatment are age 50 or over.
The good news about HIV treatment, which a lot of people don't know and should know, is that if you're on treatment, which is very effective, as long as you take it as prescribed, within a short time, the amount of virus in your body should be undetectable, which means it's untransmittable, even if you have unprotected sex.
Until a few years ago, people with HIV were believed to live a hard life. They faced prejudice for their condition. Today, all this is changing. Life can be long and healthy even with the virus. In the London Borough of Croydon, volunteers are working hard to raise awareness during the HIV Testing Week. Ilaria Cafaro, East London Lines, Croydon.
That's it for now. We'll see you next week, and in the meantime, do check out our website at www.eastlondonlines.co.uk for the latest news around the boroughs.
Thank you for joining us. From Melina and me, goodbye.